King Henry VIII of England, a chaste and composed man, a man of reason and restraint, pious and peace-loving, and most importantly, faithful to his spouse. No, not really. Here's a list of Henry Tudor's mistresses. In reality, King Henry VIII of England is known to have had several mistresses throughout his reign. And who could resist a young king who was by all accounts attractive, athletic, educated and entertaining? He certainly could bash out some sensual poetry and prose when he wanted to. And later in life, well, he was very rich, and who could say no to a king? So, who's your favourite? And who's your favourite royal mistress from all of history? Tell us in the comments. Let's meet them. Elizabeth Blount, also known as Bessie, was a member of the English gentry, known for her beauty, her jolly spirit, and her excellent dancing skills. She became Henry's preferred dancing partner and his mistress as early as 1514. In 1519, during Henry's first marriage to Catherine of Aragon, Elizabeth bore him a son named Henry Fitzroy. The boy was recognised by Henry as his illegitimate son, becoming the only one of Henry's out-of-wedlock children that was officially acknowledged. Henry Jr. was adored and given lands and titles, including the Dukedom of Richmond and Somerset. In a parallel universe, perhaps Henry Fitzroy may have even become king, but he died at just 17 years old. Elizabeth Blount's progeny proved that Henry VIII could indeed sire a son, and this prompted a popular saying,
"Blessy Bessie Blount."
And although she was his favourite mistress during his first marriage, after the birth, Henry Tudor's roving eye was once again at work. Elizabeth was eventually cast aside and married off to Gilbert Talboys. Mary Boleyn, another renowned beauty of the Tudor court. Mary Boleyn was a sister of Anne Boleyn, who famously became Henry's second wife. It is said that Mary's affair with Henry ended before he pursued Anne, possibly due to Mary's marriage to Sir William Carew, although why would that stop him? Mary's children, Catherine and Henry Carew, were rumoured to be fathered by Henry VIII, although he never recognised them as his own children. It was also said that Mary was a mistress of Henry VIII's rival, King Francis I of France, and he had some choice nicknames for her, such as the English Mare and una grandissima ribelda, infame sopra tutte, meaning a very great whore, the most infamous of all, because Mary figured she may as well be the best at being bad. After her marriage to court favourite William Carew, who died in 1528, Mary later wed lowly soldier William Stafford, a marriage that was greatly disapproved of by Henry and his then wife, and Mary's sister Anne Boleyn. This resulted in Mary being banished from court to die in obscurity with little money, but she did have love. She said of their relationship,
"I had rather beg my bread with him than be the greatest queen in Christendom, and I believe verily that he would not forsake me to be a king."
It was probably for the best that she wasn't present in court in the years that followed. Margaret and Mary Shelton. Oh, sisters, they share everything, maybe even an extramarital affair with the king. Or maybe not. We don't know for sure which of the sisters had a fleeting 6-month affair with the king in 1535, but it was likely to have been Mary. She was young, gorgeous, and a keen poet. Henry's wife of the time, Anne Boleyn, was wildly jealous that Mary's love poems were potentially about her own paramour. It was rumoured that Mary would become Henry's fourth wife. But lucky for her, she married her own cousin instead. Jane Popincourt was a French woman who was rumoured to have caught Henry VIII's eye, conducting an affair with him in 1514. She was known for her beauty and charm, and Henry reportedly sent gifts and letters to her. And we know the man could write a saucy letter. Jane also had the hots for hostage Louis d'Orleans, the Duke of Longueville, who was captured by the English during the Battle of Spurs. All these affairs damaged her reputation and future prospects, so much so that Louis XII, King of France, would not allow Jane, such an immoral woman, to be an attendant to his new wife, Henry VIII's sister, Princess Mary. Jane got given £100 parting gift from Henry, and she found Duke Louis in France to continue their affair. King Louis XII died 3 months into his new marriage, possibly from the exertions of boinking his much younger wife, or from gout. It was probably the gout. Anne Hastings, Countess of Huntingdon, possibly had a short affair with King Henry. Certainly in 1510 she was entangled in a scandalous and sensual affair with Sir William Compton, with Anne's brother finding the naughty knight in her very bedchamber, although he may have been there to deliver to Anne a letter from the king. William was forced to swear to God he hadn't done the dirty with Anne, and she was sent to cool off in a convent 60 miles away from the royal court. Elizabeth Carew was rumoured to be Henry's mistress in 1514 at the age of just 14. Not cool. Or maybe the affair was with Charles Brandon, 1st Duke of Suffolk, as a letter of his written to King Henry may have suggested. Or not suggested. We're not sure how to interpret the letter. Charles's pursuit of Elizabeth may have merely been a performance of courtly love, meant to impress the king, rather than an actual lusty pursuit. Having said that, Henry VIII did shower Elizabeth Carew with extremely expensive gifts, including a diamond necklace, a fur coat, lengths of velvet, cloth of silver and damask, an emerald, and beautiful diamonds and pearls, and innumerable jewels. All this was done in a similar manner to how Henry was known to have wooed other women, but there is no concrete evidence of an affair between the two. Maybe he just liked her family, with her brother Francis being a close friend of the king, and her mother one of Henry's most trusted servants, even entrusted to care for his children. Anne Basset, lady-in-waiting Anne Basset, an alleged mistress of Henry VIII in 1538, was apparently in the running to become his wife, both in 1540 and again in 1542, after wife Catherine Howard's execution, which must have been quite worrying for Anne. Instead, Anne Basset married Sir Walter Hungerford and kept her head. And an honourable mention goes to Henry's own wives, who often started off as his mistresses, with the king courting Jane Seymour, Catherine Howard, and famously Anne Boleyn before his previous marriages had ended. Basically, if you were married to Henry, you should be very suspicious of your maid of honour. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but it wasn't as easy for Queen Elizabeth I to conduct her affairs. Check out this video to hear about the loves and lusts of Henry's daughter, Elizabeth Tudor. Thanks for watching, subscribe if you want to.